What I'm eating here is breakfast in a ramekin. It's like baked eggs with sausage meat, cheese, polenta. It's just a fantastic breakfast. On top you got the egg and the cheddar cheese, and you dig down, and down below you have sausage, meat, and polenta. It just makes a fantastically balanced breakfast. Pop them in the oven, delicious. Let's go make some in the kitchen right now. Okay, the first thing we're going to make is our polenta, because it takes a little longer than cooked than everything else. It'll take 15 minutes, whereas the sausage meat is going to take about 12 minutes. So we'll start this first, and then we'll start the sausage meat. But what we have here for that is 1.5 cups of water, which I'm going to put in here, and we'll turn that on right away to bring it to a boil. And here, 1/2 cup of kind of a coarse ground cornmeal, or also known as polenta. And we have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1/4 cup of cream. Now, first, we're just going to cook these. We're going to set these aside for later, because they'll go in after the polenta is cooked. All right, let's bring that water up to a boil, and then we're going to add the polenta. All right, so the water's come to a boil, and we're going to turn the heat down to very, very low. Add that salt, stir that in a little bit. Add the polenta, stir that in. And now, over very low heat, because we don't want this too hot. We just want it to really lightly simmer. I'm going to leave that to simmer, covered. 15 minutes, but stirring quite occasionally, because we do not want this to burn or stick, okay? Just keep stirring it to make sure it's a nice smooth polenta. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, I've just moved this over to the smaller burner, so it'll simmer very slowly and lowly and carefully. And get the fry pan ready here. We're going to make the sausage meat now, and what we've got here is 1/2 pound or 220 grams of ground pork. Now the pork has much more flavor for sausage meat. Usually I use a pork and beef mixture. This time just pork. We have here 1 tablespoon of dried sage, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. What we're going to do is we're going to throw this all into a bit of a medium bowl. Let's get the meat in there. Let's just knock that down a bit, and we throw in the sage, the salt, the pepper, and the paprika. And then all I do is just mix that in. And I've got my favorite plastic spatula for just cutting that into the meat with. So just turn and cut, turn and cut. All right, that's pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfectly combined. You just want to get it in there. And now what we're going to do is, over medium-low heat, fire up the frying pan. While we're waiting for that to warm up, we give the polenta a quick stir. Oh, it's coming together nicely already. So you've got to be careful it doesn't burn to the bottom. Just come in there and stir it quite often. Oh, that's looking good already. I'm going to cook a bit more. All right, that's getting up to heat. So now what we're going to do is add the sausage meat. Okay, so I'm going to cook that sausage meat for about 10 to 12 minutes. Just want to brown it nicely. So stirring occasionally, turn around, brown it all nicely everywhere, and then we're going to come back and fill our ramekins. Okay, it's been a little over 15 minutes for the polenta. I just turn it off and let it just sit there and steam. The meat's been going for 10 minutes. It's nicely browned. So, first of all, look at that polenta. Look at that meat. Let's take that polenta, just move it over here for a second, because what we're going to do now is, remember we have that butter and pepper and cream to mix into it. So first thing I want to do is put the butter into it. and get that butter to melt. And we can throw the pepper into it at the same time. Hold off on the cream until we've melted the butter. Just push that butter down into the hot polenta. Mix that around. Okay, the butter is melted, so I'm going to mix in that cream. And it goes. All right, just mix that in like that. Oh, yes. So now you got this beautiful creamy polenta, which is going to go into our ramekins afterwards. First, let's put that aside. Put that back on here for a second. First thing we want to do is we want to take the meat and we want to divide this up amongst what I have here is 4 buttered ramekins. And I'm just going to put the meat, divvy it up. Okay. Basically want about even amounts of this sausage meat amongst each one. That divvied into there. All right, now what we're going to do is spoon the polenta over the top. So again, just kind of divide that up amongst the ramekins. Now, as with the meat, you want to kind of even it up. So if you got too much of one, just put it over into one that's a little low on polenta. That one seems to have gotten the lion's share. And then just push it down into the edges. So we've got kind of a spot in the center there for the egg. All right, now, oh, I love polenta. Now, what we can do here, what we have here is 4 eggs, one for each. What we have here is 4 ounces or 110 grams of cheddar cheese grated and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So let's add the eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we've got the eggs on there. Now we're just going to divide the cheddar cheese on here. All right, so we've got our cheese on there, some on the counter. And then we just take the pepper and again divvy that up, just to sprinkle a little bit over top of each one. It just, more than anything, it adds a little kind of a nice texture look to the ramekins. Okay, so those are ready to go in the oven. The oven is heating up right now, just about ready at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. We're going to put these in there anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. What you want to do is just kind of keep an eye on them. The cheese will melt. You want the white to become opaque, but you want that yolk to stay a bit runny because that's what makes it really delicious. All right, let's get these in the oven and then come back and see them when they come out of the oven. All right, these have been in the oven for about 12 minutes. I like them a little bit runny because they're going to cook just a little bit more just sitting there. But these are ready to devour. Absolutely delicious. Now, if you go to the link appearing on the screen, you can get the free printable recipe for breakfast in a ramekin on our website. So go print out the recipe, have fun making and eating this delicious breakfast, and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.